Certainly, we all know there are differences between men and women, but what about male and female leadership? How is it the same and how is it different? Joining me to explore that question will be Deborah Shane. She is Chief Catalyst, Motivator, and Educator with Train with Shane, her own consulting company. She's also producer of the Women's Empowerment Series and author of the forthcoming new book, Career Transitions, Making the Shift. So let's explore together the whole issue of women in leadership. Deborah, thank you so much for being on Good Work Now and for sharing your ideas about women and empowerment and leadership. Deborah, tell me your thoughts about what distinguishes female leaders from male leaders.
There are differences and there are a lot of similarities. But I want to read you a definition that I found that I thought was really, really great. And it's from Dr. Musimbi Kanyoro, and she is the World YMCA Secretary General. She describes it this way. She says, a feminine way of leadership includes helping the world to understand and be principled about values that really matter. And I think that's a good description of kind of what women are all about. Also, I found a study that I thought was very compelling from Caliper, and they are a management consulting firm, and they did this study in 2005.
Okay.
And they came up with the following distinguishing characteristics or kind of leadership trends for that were true for women leaders. One is they were more assertive. Two is that they had stronger need to get things done. They were willing to take risks. They were more empathetic and flexible. They had stronger interpersonal skills, and they cared about where others were coming from.
I think also, too, arguably, many of those things on that list could be attributed to male leaders as well. Like, for example, the risk-taking, getting things done, the assertiveness. Maybe that's more traditionally.
It is traditional.
Perspectives on male leaders. But like, as you said in the opening, there are similarities as well as differences between the two. Let's dig a little deeper, and I understand you have 3 points regarding your thoughts about empowerment and women in leadership. And let's talk about the first one, which is growing into your potential. What are your thoughts about that?
Well, you know, I want to say first and foremost that the 21st century is an unprecedented time for women. We are in a position that we've never been in before with regard to being a majority, 52% of the full-time workforce. We're 66%, we control 66% of global spending. We're 60% of college students. And women are starting businesses 2 to 1 over any other ethnic group. So it's a very, very unique time and shift in that with regard to that. But I do think women still struggle because of how they kind of been socialized about their leadership, their self-esteem, and their self-confidence. And, you know, I'm an advocate for that. I really believe that that's something we need to work on in order to take advantage of the time and the opportunity that we have to really impact the world in a big way. So growing into your potential, I think women need to really identify and define what their true desire and passion is and vision for what they want for their personal and professional life. Secondly, you know, you have to be consistently committed to upgrading your skills and doing the things that you need to do to set yourself up for success. And thirdly, you have to be building consistent habits. You have to be in these habits every single day and build a consistency in order to keep moving forward.
It sounds like some self-discipline, having a vision and being vigilant with it. But also, too, in terms of the generational factor with the new generation, the millennials, the ones that were born in the 90s, for example, and the generation that's after, I think they're called the green generation, that the barriers are melting away.
Well, I think
what roles women can play.
Gen X and Gen Y are really, you know, they're pretty much, they don't sit around and discuss the glass ceiling. They're just out doing their thing. And their whole desire for leadership and wanting to be entrepreneurial. Gen Y is, when it's all said and done, is going to be the largest entrepreneurial generation that we have ever seen. And they're about 10% larger than Gen X the baby boomers,
Exactly.
and they're quite a bit larger than Gen X.
Right.
So I think you know, we all pave the way for each other.
Exactly. Building one generation, building on the next.
Absolutely. Women are being put into tremendous leadership positions now in all aspects of business, from politics to healthcare to technology, you know, to retail to, you know, education. I mean, it's just, it's extraordinary.
It seems to me that women have helped us understand that we can be both leaders and followers and not having to be just one or the other.
There's an expression that Seth Godin from Lynchpin, he says leaders have followers and followers need leaders. And you know, the way the way to build leadership is to build followers, to build people that want, you know, to support you and believe that you're leading them someplace and guiding them someplace and giving them a chance to have their own voice and be a part of things. I think the domination type effect in leadership, it's pretty much done. It's pretty much gone. And I think women struggle sometimes when they get into these positions of leadership, that they think they actually have to lead like a man, and they don't. They can lead with these beautiful qualities we talked about before, the, you know, interpersonal skills and the inclusiveness and building community and, you know, seeing where you can organize people and gather people.
So it sounds like female leaders rely more on influence rather than authority.
Absolutely.
To get things done.
At least that's the most effective way women can lead. And you know, there's a leadership guru, his name is Max Dupree, and he wrote a book called Leadership is an Art. And he describes leadership, and I like this because it really, I think, expresses a lot about how women do this, and that is leadership is more tribal than scientific, more weaving of relationships than an amassing of information. And I think that's a really good way of describing how women try to lead and are seeking to lead.
What it sounds like what you're saying is a network as opposed to a hierarchy.
Exactly.
So I think the traditional model of leadership that we've seen from the Industrial Revolution and part of the 20th century was the top-down approach. With
social networking. And what that's all about, which is people, many-to-many conversations, many-to-many interactions, you know, where we're coming together in these platforms and communicating. And, you know, the world has gotten more open, and they want more accountability, and they want more transparency. You know, corporate America right now is struggling to find, you know, a way to keep its environment, you know, effective and fun and productive.